Do I think that what we're seeing as of right now, right here, when it comes to XCN, could very well be great news for it moving forward? I think so. Even though nothing I say is financial advice, let's take a look at how not too long ago it was announced that, based on an article by the Onyx Protocol, it says introducing the Onyx Goliath project, a next generation layer 1 blockchain network. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. However, I just want to make clear that, first of all, it has been alleged, right, that it is planned that on Q1 of 2026, so this is next year, by the way, there will be the main network launch. Again, when you take a look at that, again, the mainnet still has a ways to go, allegedly, and again, planned for next year. So again, it still could be quite a while before we could truly see what this could be capable of. However, it doesn't mean that it's bad, and I do believe that it could create a lot of good sentiment, and let me explain why. Because if we take a look at this article even deeper, we'll see that it says how, in a monumental step towards revolutionizing the financial sector, Onyx has unveiled again the Onyx Goliath project. Now, this more specifically is a groundbreaking initiative aimed at transforming how financial transactions are conducted on a global scale. Furthermore, we'll see that this article does state that this ambitious project introduces a state-of-the-art Layer 1 blockchain network designed to cater specifically to banks, financial system providers, and financial institutions. And this is very fantastic because, as we all know, these markets, they're on the rise. Let's take a look at, for instance, the payments market, which is currently valued at over $2 trillion, not to mention the global trade and finance market, which, according to Mordor Intelligence, by 2028, so basically 3 years away at this point, right, is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value. Now, again, people may be thinking, oh yeah, again, the main network launch is still predicted to happen next year, and there's no guarantees because sometimes there's delays and all this. I totally understand that. But it doesn't mean that this can't create good sentiment, because think about this, right? In the world of cryptocurrencies currently, from what I have observed, usually what people care about is anticipated adoption. They care about, a project wanting to launch something, planning something to be launched. They more so care about that. They care about the story as opposed to the reality, sometimes in a sense that they more so care about what something could be as opposed to what it already is. It's like, for instance, we take a look at many DeFi projects out there, many NFT projects, many blockchain gaming projects. They say they're going to do this, do that. They say they're going to launch this, but then they never do. But then still, their native token, in some cases, still ends up doing very well. And some of them are still very massive as of right now, by the way, despite the, whole space having a pullback, generally speaking. So the way you take a look at it is that usually what I've noticed is that people, let's say they care about, let's say, for instance, an NFT project. They say that, hey, next year we're going to launch this NFT collection. It's going to have a collaboration with this artist or with this celebrity or whatever the case may be. And that alone is enough for some people to say, wow, this is an amazing project, even though they don't launch anything. So when it comes to something like Onyx, again, at least having a roadmap, right, as to what this could be, game plan, so to speak, a planned, mainnet launch. Why is that bad? This plan right here is a lot more clear. Or should I say a lot more clear? I'm going to repeat myself because the first one, my throat was a little bit kind of rough. But even besides that, again, this plan is way more clear than many other projects out there that don't really get the kind of, attention that Onyx has in terms of the critique. Because let's face it, I've noticed that a lot of people, they're critiquing this. They're saying that, oh, wow, this is still a ways away. What is this all about? Well, here's the thing. For other projects, they don't complain. But then for this one, they do complain. I just don't get it. Again, at least their plan is clear. They have a direction. If they didn't have a direction, let's say they just announced it and they didn't really say, hey, we're going to do this, do that, then that's a little bit alarming. But that isn't the case, right? At least they're planning for things to happen at a certain date. There's no surefire thing because there's no guarantees, in my opinion, but still, it is a good step in the right direction nonetheless, because when it comes to Onyx, for a very long time, it has been kind of said by a lot of people in terms of the main complaint is the fact that, oh, they're not really doing anything. Yeah, we get it. It's kind of similar to Stellar, aka XLM, and Ripple, aka XRP, but they're not really doing anything. Some people would argue that. But again, when they want to do something, now people are complaining. So I just don't get it. If anything, I think it's great. But then some people view this as kind of like, oh, take a look at the price of XCN. It's not doing the best. Look at the pullback. Well, here's the thing. The whole space overall isn't doing the best as of right now. Because again, there's a pullback. So the sentiment, of course, has kind of changed as opposed to a couple months ago or just like, let's say even a month ago, right? But it doesn't mean that, let's say the price of XCN is going down. It doesn't mean that the project, when it comes to Onyx, is doing bad. That's not the case. Like, for instance, fundamentally speaking, what bad thing happened to Bitcoin? Really, you got to think about that, right? It's not like Bitcoin randomly had this go wrong or whatever. No, that wasn't the case. It's just a lot of people are selling off. That's it, right? So then, does it mean it's bad? No. So then how is it any different when it comes to XCN? Okay, the price going down, but Onyx doesn't mean it's doing bad. Keep in mind, right? When it comes to XCN, $1, that's still my price target. The reason being is because I think, again, Onyx has a clear focus. And if we take a look at the Onyx protocol, we'll see that it's allegedly a decentralized blockchain infrastructure that is designed to improve financial services. So again, the way I take a look at it is that if people love Stellar, aka XLM, and Ripple, aka XRP, I think they'll like this too. Let's take, for instance, people who love Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. From what I've known, some of them do like Pepe as well because they like meme coins in general, and sometimes they want to look for the next big thing. I don't see why XCN won't be viewed as in the same regard. Of course, XCN isn't a meme coin, so then people may think, oh, it's an apples to oranges comparison. But I think it's a fair analogy nonetheless because, again, we do know that Dogecoin, that's kind of like the top meme coin, right? We do know that when it comes to Shiba Inu, it's the number 2. Much like in this space, right? Ripple is always going to be number 1. Stellar pretty much is always going to be number 2. But then the number 3 spot, it's still kind of up for grabs. When it comes to the meme coin space, people would already argue that, hey, it's Pepe. But then when it comes to this space, there's no clear number 3. It's still yet to be proven. Like, for instance, some people think it could be XDC, ZBCN, XPR, XCN, right? It's still kind of debated. So then the way you take a look at it is that XCN has the opportunity to shine, and I don't think that the Onyx protocol is bad by any means. Keep in mind, right? People like to say, oh, what is the timeline when things are going to peak, all this type of stuff. I've been mentioning how usually altcoins, as worst case scenario, they usually peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. The last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of last year, so around 18 months from then is around October this year. So that's the timeline I'm looking at. Again, I'm not saying that XCN is going to, for sure peak at that time as a worst case, historically speaking. No, I'm not going to say that. However, the way I view it is that this is a good benchmark. So then what happens to XCN next week, next month, or whatever, it's not really going to concern me because if the race is far from over, why would I care about what happens in between? It's like, think about this, right? If let's say I'm running a marathon, all I care about is, can I complete this marathon? You know what I mean, right? Do I care how I'm feeling at the 4th, 5th, or 6th mile? I don't think I would really be concerned because, again, if I'm focused on achieving that 10-mile race, then of course that's going to be my focus. Sure, it's a long game, right? It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So then whatever happens to XCN, like we see right now and all this, doesn't really concern me because I still believe that better days are ahead. And think about this, right? XCN going to the price of $1, that right there, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $32.5 billion. Still around $8 billion less than Shiba Inu's all-time high market cap. Around $50 billion less than Dogecoin's all-time high market cap. And also around $100 billion less than XRP's current market cap. So I don't think this is too much to ask for. Only time will tell, but I'm staying confident because there's over 600 million crypto owners as of right now, according to Crypto.com research, more than ever before in history. I highly doubt that this bull is going to be bad. And I think news like this, when it comes to Goliath, for instance, I think it could be big in terms of creating a good narrative, especially as the bull run picks up. However, only time will tell. But again, XCN at the price of $1 is still my price target for this bull run. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.